Welcome back to Get Connected. I'm your host, Conn Jackson. I like to think I'm knowledgeable in a lot of areas, but when we were talking about the environment last week, I really failed when it came to natural gas and drilling and truly appreciating what it was all about. And of course, I'm on the environmentalist side that we want to protect our planet, but we also need to get to energy. But one of the processes that was brought up was called fracking. I had no idea what it was, so we have a specialist joining us right now. His name is Faulkner, and I'm just curious, when you guys make discoveries down underneath the earth of natural gas, do you still get excited about it?
You know, you'd think it would wear off after, several hundred times and several hundred wells being drilled, but it's still very exciting because if you realize, Conn, just talk about it in very simplistic terms, we're drilling a hole 2 miles down and then 4 miles sideways in the dark. And you really don't know what you're going to get out of the well until you drill that hole. And a lot of folks can tell you, oh, I think there's going to be X or Y or Z. But the only true way you know is to drill the hole and to produce the well and see what it's going to do. So it's a very exciting business. But if you think about it in those terms, it's still such a very simple business that is a true game changer for the American energy landscape from here on out.
All right, Chris, let's get to the topic and the reason you're with us. Tell us about this technology and this process known as fracking.
Well, fracking is a technique that we are using to enter the age of natural gas, which will allow us to unbreak our marriage to coal in power generation and a number of other things. Natural gas now is so abundant. We have over 200 years of supply because of this technique known as fracking. And fracking is the last step, if you will, in the drilling process. So once I drill the well, 4 miles total, I go in and I come out of the hole and then I go back down with a lot of drinking water or fresh water, 5 million gallons to give you an example, about 1 million pounds of proppant sand, and then a little bit of chemical, which acts as a lubricant to get that sand into the formation. And when it hits that formation, which is very brittle because it was deposited very deep into the Earth's formation at a very high temperature, it cracks it open. And it makes a lot of little fissures. And those little fissures now allow the trapped oil and gas to travel into the wellbore and up to the surface to be produced. Without fracking, there is no way that we have today to unlock all of these millions and millions of barrels of oil and hundreds of years of natural gas.
Very interesting and fascinating indeed. Now, I'm an environmentalist myself, so I'm just curious, why is this process so concerning to folks like myself?
Two things. Number one, the environmentalists don't want to discuss the fact that the first well was fracked in 1941 in the Houghton field in Kansas. So they want folks to believe this is an untried and untested technology, that the oil and gas industry does not know the ramifications. It's absolutely untrue. Number two, the environmentalists would like everyone to think that every well that's being fracked is contaminating drinking water. Again, that's untrue. We take great precaution when we are drilling through the water aquifer, which occurs at a very shallow depth. In Atlanta, in Georgia, in most regions, you'll see your water table at 3 or 4 or 500 feet below the surface, very shallow. And keep in mind, I told you we're drilling 10,000 feet below that. So there is no connectivity between the fracking at 10,000 feet and the water table at 400 to 500 feet. And with that precaution that I'm taking going through that water table, when I set my surface casing, and surface casing is a tool that we have to use per the regulation in our industry that says when you go into the water table, you're to drill down below it, then go back and set a big steel pipe, and then dump cement all around that pipe to lock it into place so that it shields what you're doing against the water aquifer to just make sure nothing leaks out. Those two things alone make me think that what we're doing here for the past 80 years with fracking is safe, and that a lot of these statements are misconceptions and misinformation that the environmentalists obviously are putting out as fact.
Well, I think we all agree we want to protect our aquifers. Thank you so much for joining us, and in particular, your passion on the subject.
Thank you.
So glad you got to check out that clip. But listen, we've got plenty more going on here at Get Connected, our TV show. My friend and I are going to give you a glimpse of all the fun, so take it away.
The sun shines bright as it moves across my face. I feel the light and everything is in its place. Oh, I woke up feeling great. Today was made made for me. And life is good the way it should, the way it was meant to be.
Well, join us and we'll get you in the know. Check us out at Get Connected at conntv.com and be part of the movement.